Good morning and welcome, people. Good morning, everybody, under the sound of my voice, and good morning to you out there. Welcome aboard to Straight Talk live on Echo FM 100.7. It's the 30th day of January in 2026. Well, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. January don't finish. Finally, January be like say no one finished. It's gonna be like 100 days in to go. Today is the one of the last days ever we're going to see called January 30th, 2026. You don't go after today, we're not going to see them again. Bye-bye. What goes up and never comes down is age. That's the only thing. So, we don't go. And of course, we are live here on Echo FM 100.7. Of course, apologies, we've been here, but we had some guests. That's why we're starting this program when we are starting it. Now, we go set small market sometimes. No provoke. No vex, and don't leave us here hanging. All right. Thank you for sticking around with us. It's always a pleasure to be with you. My name is Barry Cosmos, the radio machine, the Budu One on radio. And this morning, we will be taking a look at the Electoral Act review and the panel that have been set up by the Senate. I will also take a look at this very worrisome and trendy topic on the pages of the newspaper. Now we have the federal government's 9 trillion naira domestic loan surge. It drains life, the lifeline from businesses. So we're going to take a look at this and look at what happens. Why is it that the banks, domestic banks, are borrowing more money to the government, to the public sector than the private sector? The private sector is predominantly run by businesses, and businesses makes the economy. But in Nigeria, our loans and borrowing goes more to the government. Why is it so? They are draining the life out of businesses. So today we take a look at that, do some analysis, and every businessman, if you're a trader out there, if you are somebody who is into any form of business, be it education, industrialization, and all that, let's see how this is affecting you. You can also tell us, because we need to bring this to the ear of people who make policies. The federal government's 9 trillion naira domestic loans. 9 trillion. Hi. 9 trillion. Now they hear the money, trillion. So billion, no, they be anything for Nigeria. They don't enter trillion. Very soon they enter quadrillion. Damn, borrow over. That is very funny. But it is not funny. This is a very serious matter. Businesses are strangulated because there are no funds available to them. Despite the high interest rate, and the government interest is coming lower, and of course, government has all it takes. So is it the government is very credit-worthy and the business owners are not credit-worthy, and the government make policies that will make borrowing become very hard for businesses to strive? So how do we grow our private sector to match up with the rest of the world? That is what we're going to be taking a look at today on the show. Everybody join me live as we talk about this. Join me live on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram. We are everywhere you go. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Let's go talking. Before we go into that conversation, it's time to take a look at what the papers are saying on our newspaper review. Don't touch that dial. All right, we start with the Daily Post newspaper this morning. Dust on meal tables. Expert reveal hidden dangers of Nigeria's roadside drying culture. Okay, dust on the meal table. If you go to the road, people are spreading corn, melon, all manner of things. Jero in the north, dawa, as they call it, that's millet, and the rest of them. So these things, you now draw a libor, you dry even, what is it called again? The flour. the cassava flours and the rest of them. You dry it on the road, and there's dust that is entering that food. What are the dangers? So along many Nigerian highways and rural roads, long stretches of cassava, maize, rice, beans, pepper, and melon seeds, among other, lie openly under the sun. The local farmers and processors, it is a cheap traditional method of preservation, but to health experts, it's a silent invitation to diseases. All right? Silent invitation to diseases. So that's what this means. From Ogun, Ondo, and Oyo in the southwest to Benue, Kogi, and Niger in the north central. From Imo State here in Enugu and Ebonyi in the southeast to Adamawa, Taraba, and Yobe in the northeast. Roadside drying has become a part of everyday life. So everybody is always drying. Well, if you go right now, you'll see some people drying beans, drying, what is it called again, millet, even egusi, grinded ones. Go to market, people will grind egusi, then go and spray it by the roadside, and the dust and the sand and everything goes inside. So what are the health challenges to that? You grab a copy of the Daily Post newspaper, get more details on that one. Well, the court order, Wike moves to commit FCTA striking workers to prison. Oh my God, Wike. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has applied for an order of the National Industrial Court to commit the striking workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, to prison over their alleged disobedience to court order. Oh boy. When has it become a crime for unions to go on strike? So if NLC go on strike now, and the court orders them to come back without giving them their due, you will now put them to prison. Well, according to Wike, the disobedience to the court order by the workers arose from a resumption of the strike despite an order of the court issued on January 27, stopping the strike until the determination of the suit instituted against them by the FCT minister. You know, sometimes politicians just speak. How many court orders did Wike ignore as a governor? Who put him into prison? How many court orders have Nigerian government disobeyed? Who put them to prison? So the court orders are meant to be obeyed by the common man, but not the powerful. Really? So Wike, I don't know where this your guts is coming from, but this is completely out of line. It's completely out of line. Instead of you to call your workers, people who work under you, who make you, who pay your bills, these are taxpayers, then at the end of the day, you say you want to commit them to prison. Where is the prison? Where will you pack all of them to go? You push people too far, and if they decide all of us want to go to prison, what do you go do, Wike? Well, to demonstrate his opposition against the workers for treating order of the industrial court with levity, the FCT minister has obtained Form 48, a legal document of court, which spelled out the consequences of violating order of court to be served on the striking workers. Now, the issue is that does this worker have a right to appeal this judge? Yes, they do. So why this bragado attitude of Wike? Wike, know thyself. The Form 48 was obtained by a legal luminary, Dr. Ogu James Onoja, a senior advocate of Nigeria, son of the Bar and Bench Chambers in Abuja, on behalf of Wike, to compel the workers to obey order of court to be committed to jail as stipulated by the law. Where the Form 48 is titled Notice of Consequence of Disobedience of Court, Order of Court, and would be followed with contempt charges. To read, take note that unless you obey the directions contained in the order of Honorable Justice E.D. Sublimi of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, delivered 27th day of January 2026, you will be guilty of the contempt of court and will be liable to be committed to prison. Okay. Let's see if this intimidation tactics will work on the people. But if they unitedly disagree with you, Wike, are you going to put everybody in jail? Or you think if you put the leaders in jail, the workers will now do that? This is a democratic setting, and I believe this is not supposed to be a military era. Wike has never worn the khaki, but he keeps behaving worse than a military man. This is completely uncalled for. Is this to show you're a strong man? What is this? What the hell is that? Wike, know thyself. This is completely out of line. Completely. Well, the Kano Kebbi Governor Idris appoints Mutala as a pioneer Provost College of Midwifery Science. And of course, Governor Kpobelo makes minor cabinet reshuffle and redeploys chief of staff as a commissioner now. His chief of staff has gone to be a commissioner. He's not going to get a chief of staff. That smells trouble in paradise. In EPL, Paul Merson predicts Chelsea versus West Ham. Yeah, Paul Merson, there is never time you predict the Chelsea go win match. Carry your wallet, they go. Come on, they go. Don't want to hear your prediction. All right, moving on now to the Vanguard newspaper. On the Vanguard newspaper, Northern Khan, Christian clerics reject calls for sack of INEC chair. This is becoming another very long drama by the Northern people. So long as it is not a Muslim that is in charge of INEC, they will keep fermenting trouble. First, they started saying that they will not accept any result that is compromised. Election never come, they don't shout say go compromise. They are scared that a Christian will become president if a Christian is conducting elections. I don't get it. What's all this madness coming from? And it's not as if it's coming from majority of the North. It's some few people who find themselves in the leadership position, keep fermenting trouble up and down, asking for the removal of Amopitan simply because he's a Christian. Well, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, has rejected calls by the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria for the removal of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amopitan, describing the demand as an attempt to politicize religion and undermine a key national institution. Well, the Sharia Council had earlier called for the immediate removal of the prosecution of the INEC chairman over a legal brief in which he reportedly acknowledged claims relating to persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Just imagine that. And that's the reason why you're calling for him to be sacked. Unbelievable. He never called for the sack of, what was his name, Mahmoud, after every nonsense that happened under his tenure. This man has not even conducted any election, national election, I mean. You have started shouting, yeah, because he wrote a brief that there was Christian genocide. Same thing that he wrote years ago is still happening. How long do you think you can keep denying and deceiving people? Simply because you have a Muslim president. Muslim president, vice president, Muslim. And that is where you have the nerves to be saying things like this. Well, there's Khan and, of course, Christian in the north, they are now saying that no way. They keep saying 19 states in the north. It's Middle Belt, now not. That's exactly. They need to constitutionally change that name, North Central, to the Middle Belt states, so that they will stop using this illusion of the 6 states in the North Central, which is the Middle Belt, as not. So at least if they remove 6, they have like 13. Okay. So it is very, very funny that at the end of the day, you just see these people talk anyhow and do anyhow, and nothing goes around. Asking for the removal of a chairman of INEC simply because they wrote a brief years ago that there was Christian genocide in Nigeria. For that reason, he is not fit to serve as INEC chairman. Well, what do you make of that story? Let's move on back to other stories on the Vanguard newspaper. Petrol to cost more as crude oil price rises further. Who is making this rise? If they just fight 1 day, 2 days, after that, they're going to go back. And we're going to happy. Dangote did this one, Dangote did that one, Dangote did this one. Now they don't carry the price, they go back. They begin to tell us crude oil. Because Dangote have to buy crude. First, Dangote increased by 100 naira last week. This week. This same week, they don't come say crude oil don't increase. Who increased the price? Nobody did. No, are we buying it or is just extracted here in Nigerian soil? Something where you extract for soil, would they buy them? You say, why increase the price? If you talk, you say the international price benchmark. Oh, me tabo. Well, according to the story on the Vanguard newspaper, while crude oil price increased by 6.2%, the local retail price increased by 14.3%. Imagine that. 6.2, 14.3, indicating that the local oil companies more than double the rate of increases in their main input cost, crude oil. Something increased by 6.2%, you increase by 14.3%. That is 2 times going to the top, 2.5 times the price of which you bought. These people are just criminals and robbing Nigerians, milking Nigerians dry. Hoo-ha. Yes, we say it loud and clear. This is the height of deceit. This is the height of exploitation of Nigerian people. Government need to come to the aid of Nigerians. This is getting too much. Over 160 church members held by kidnappers in Kaduna and Kogi. And yet, remove INEC chairman because he said there is Christian genocide. Well, according to the story, in Jos, no fewer than 160 members of the Evangelical Church Winning All Equa are currently in captivity across Kaduna and Kogi states, with their families facing crippling ransom demands the leadership of the church has revealed. Imagine that. Imagine that. Sharia Council. When I not see this one, no. Keep deceiving ourselves in this country, never telling the truth, and expect everybody is so dumb that we don't know exactly what's going on. Well, in 2027, Northern youths declared Tinubu our candidate, cite zoning and continuity. All right? Soldiers arrest gun runner in Cross Rivers and recover 243 pump-action cartridges. Unbelievable. Gunmen kidnapped Tinubu Shetima campaign youth leader. 12 terrorists, soldiers killed as troop repel ISWAP drone attack. ISWAP, they use drone. I don't know when we hear South Nigeria Army, they use drone to go pursue them. They use drone to go attack anything? No. Maiduguri troops of Sector 1 Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai have killed 12 Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists in Borno State while recovering a significant cache of weapons and ammunitions. All right, thank you very much, Nigerian Army. Well done for that beautiful service to our great nation. All right, we'll move on now to other stories. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, ECOWAS bloc hits 4.6% growth amid global economic headwinds. That's according to President. And AGN leaves suspension of Nollywood actress Halima Abubakar. Wow, Halima is back. We're going to see that dazzling diva on screen soon. Transparency, financial technical capacity, prerequisites for 2025 oil blocks bidders. And 250 youths benefit from NCDMB Jake Riley Empowerment Scheme. And linkage assurance revenue surged by 24% to 27.6 billion. Dangote Cement ignites safety culture transformation with Igbese plans fair play launch. And Nigeria's telecoms industry attracted over $1 billion in 2025. That is according to the NCC. All right, we'll move on now to the Punch newspaper. On the Punch newspaper, Oshomole, Tambuwa on Senate's high-stake Electoral Act review panel. And APC engaging Wike to resolve Rivers crisis, says Bashiru. Meter cost sparked discuss FJ showdown on tariff. Recall that this meter and tariff, they said it was free of charge. But the Bureau of Public Enterprise, an agency of the federal government, has said that electricity consumers will pay for the ongoing free meter installation through their tariffs. Meaning what? Meaning they will increase tariff. That's exactly what it means. Well, the disclosure comes amid a row with electricity distribution companies over who is responsible for covering the cost of the prepaid meter being rolled out under the World Bank funded programs. The Punch reports that the federal government and electricity distribution companies have been at loggerheads over who bears the cost of prepaid meters being rolled out by the federal government. The disagreement erupted after the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, directed that prepaid meters procured under the World Bank-funded distribution sector recovery program must be installed for electricity consumers free of charge, warning that any official or installer found collecting money would be prosecuted. However, everybody listen to this, look at their new plan. However, electricity distribution companies expressed doubt over the directive, insisting that although customers may not pay cash upfront, the meters will still be paid for by Discos over a period of 10 years, raising concerns about cost recovery, installation expenses, and the financial implications for operators. Reacting the controversy, the Director General of the Bureau of Public Enterprise, Ayo Gbeleye, dismissed claims that the Discos were being asked to pay for the meters over a 10-year period, regretting that the federal government's free metering program was receiving pushback from the Discos. While in Lagos State, at the 501 billion naira bond insurance signing ceremony to settle power sector debt, Gbeleye expressed concern that Discos were growing a wrong narrative as far as the free metering initiative was concerned. Now, what they are saying is that we, the consumers, all of us now, plus me, will pay for the meter indirectly through the billing and the tariffs. Tariffs are simple: how much you're paying for your electrical bill. Either band A, band B, band C, whatever band you belong to, you will pay through that band. It means there will be an increment in the bills that will come because of the free meter. And the worst part of it is that everybody will pay if they increase that tariff, but not everybody will get the meter. So, me tabo. On that note, I will open up the phone lines for you to holler. It's time for you to join the conversation. 0911 2022 or 0707 454. Just before we go here, I want to use this time to celebrate a special person. Of course, today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Jennifer. You are highly blessed. I wish you the best of your life. May God add more years to you. Jenny, as I call her, happy birthday to you. And of course, Mrs. Cedric, we say many more years to you. Okay, it's time for you now to add your voice to the conversation. It is 0911 20,022. Let's go there. All right, my first caller, if you flash me, your phone go lost. All right, don't flash me on Jenny's birthday. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sire. Welcome aboard.
Okay, it's your turn.
Okay.
Please, I want to ask, what the Nigerian Christian can they do in this country? Are they not seeing the handwriting that Islam is wake up to control everywhere in the country? Are they keeping quiet for people to stand up to tell them what to do? The person that the Bible said that the prince is going on the leg, why the servant is going on the horse? The law of God is in our hand. Why are they keeping quiet and allowed Islam to kill Christians, doing what to do, but they are keeping silent? They are not talking. They are not showing up. In fact, I just pray that God, if I have the opportunity, only heaven knows what will happen in this country.
My brother, hold on, no talk out. Hold on. All right, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, my very good friend, Mr. Bayo. How are you doing this morning?
I am very fine, thank you very much.
Mr. Barry, on the issue of Sharia counsel to the INEC chairman, just like the last caller has said, if we in this country will find ourselves back on Nigeria for now, I don't know where we are heading to. I keep on saying it, and I'm saying it, and I must keep on saying it, that we have two laws governing this country called Nigeria. The laws are made for Igbos to kill and to destroy them. That's the law that is whatever any Igbo man do, he will not go scot-free. And the other law that is the Nigerians, the Yorubas, and the Northerners are using, that whatever crime they must commit, they must go free. And if we don't address this law that is governing this country, these two laws, we cannot make it better. You know, in Nigeria, there is no law. It's the only law against Igbos that is governing this country. That's the only law that stands. Other ones, they go free with it. How can a man come out or an society come out and say, he's saying this man wrote something against the genocide against Christians in Nigeria, that they need to remove him, just like he said. Jega ruled there under INEC chairman for years. Nobody. Mahmoud they commit all crimes. They did not stand against him. Now they have seen a Christian are standing against him. Let us divide and rule this country. That's the only way out. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Well, this other message came in, says, my beautiful morning. My eloquent and majestic Barricade, say, court grants Yahya Bello permission to travel to Saudi Arabia. This type of news pricks the ears and breaks the heart. Is this not the same Yahya Bello that is facing EFCC for over 80 billion naira fraud charges? Yet, many people with minimal offenses are languishing in Kuje and other prisons. So Shomole is really right when he said that when one joins APC, his sins, both mortal and venial, are forgiven. Nigeria can be confirmed as a country of very serious concern, especially our judiciary. Donald Trump needs to hear this. The same APC-led government has taken trillions of naira as loans from our many commercial banks, in addition to very many foreign loans, leaving our local investors with little or no opportunities to obtain loans. Who says Nigeria is not a country of great concern? Isn't Lady Julie Nosike sent in that one? We have this one, says the one on air. I think NAFDAC should put their searchlight on this method of dry some items on the open. For Wike threat to FCT workers, he has to be careful in order not to lose his integrity at Abuja. Abuja is not Rivers, where he dances anyhow. Barry Iswap and military, who has the most dangerous weapons. There's nothing like free meter in this country. The free meter us, just like Bodo Peter and Pay Paul. I rest my case. Comrade Chris Ogbonna, JP, Church of Presentation. All right, let's go back to the phone lines now. If you are calling, I don't know why these calls are bouncing. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Barry Cosmas, my very good friend.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm very fine.
My name is Chidu Ubaja, and I usually come from Duchis of the Nimos. I want to join Khan and the others to actually reject the call by the Sharia Council for the removal of INEC chairman that was just appointed a few months ago, as I asked. Upon which premise is he going to be removed? And for having done what? Possibly because he's a Christian. Even with his immediate predecessor, Yakubu, who is a Muslim, served full terms without any Christian raising any eyebrows. As I enjoin the Sharia Council, to save us of...
Thank you, Chief Jude, for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Barry Cosmos.
I greet you, sir.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend to you.
It's your friend Chikode.
Okay.
You know, in a beer white, I've never been called because the type of story I'm hearing in Nigeria is paying me seriously.
Abi?
Now, Barry, can you remember what I told you last time? Said that Christians don't have much in this country. We have Sharia courts. Do you see it's happening now?
Okay.
Now, Oshomo tell you that when you enter APC, your sin have been forgiven. Look at somebody who took Nigerian money, Ayaya Bello, and now they have free him to go to Dubai to go and get enjoyment. Who is deceiving who, Barry? Somebody is in the cell, lavishing, because he said the truth. Let me go home and stay with my family. He said no. Then somebody who committed adultery in this country, you give him free liberty to fly or rumble about anywhere he likes. What type of country is this? Now, Wike is saying that it's all about forgetting that God is the only one who has everything in his life. Is this good? But let us tell ourselves the truth, because this Nigeria is mess.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chikode.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kabada.
Good morning to you.
Somewhere from Nazareth.
Okay, Sammy, go ahead.
The northern, is it Sharia people,
They are saying that they
The
don't
Sharia
want
Council, yeah.
Ahmed to come.
Yeah.
It's good now. Is it not good? They are running Muslim tickets. So the INEC chairman is supposed to be Muslim. So everything will go together. Do you want if the Muslim people go to mosque to do meeting, then the INEC chairman will not follow them?
Now you talk now.
No, this government is doing in every side. So everything is supposed to be done in one room, the meeting. So it's good. Those people that are saying that it's not good, they are just lamenting. It's good. It's good so that if you and me go to meeting, we'll be looking at each other as one person. We agree on one thing.
Yeah.
Not so.
That's so.
So nobody should lament. Since they don't want to talk at the onset, let them not talk now, please.
Okay.
I support it. If they want to remove him, let them. Because but let me ask you, are you sure that man is a Christian? Are you sure? Do you know the meaning of a Christian?
Come and be going. Come and be going. He wants that trouble.
Those people that I don't think that they are Christians.
Okay.
Are they not the worst people in government?
Thank you.
And God, let them go rest, I beg.
All right. Okay, Juju from Equity says, Barry, good morning. Barrio, on the issue of Wike, he said, one, that if Tinubu remove him or do anyhow, Wike will release Tinubu's secret. When did he say that one? I beg you, Juju. Like those days, immediately one said, I will release Buhari's secret, be ready to get his appointment. Well, that's the gospel according to Juju. He also said, President Tinubu, do come back, come back from where you there. Oh, say Joe Jesus still on strike. No federal hospitals working. It's not funny. Barrio, Trump don't go. Okay, Trump day. Trump go show when he's supposed to show. They are still discussing. Soludo should keep him busy somewhere, not in main market. Thief and come to APC. You'll be free like Yaya Bello. Hi, God, Nigerians. Everything under the gives cash cruise. All right. Dr. Mrs. Olebra from Owerri says, my president has failed woefully in his promise of giving us electricity and should resign honorably. Well, let this word be his bond. So he should not think of coming for second tenure. National grid keeps falling because of our leaders' greed. Let's keep reminding him because this 2027 power belongs to the people, and we will decide who will be president. She also went further to say that why are we institutionalizing corruption? Why are criminals allowed to justify their criminality? Those at the top are today doing heinous things and proudly handing over the culture of criminality to our children, our successors. We are fast losing all forms of godliness. We hail crimes and criminals and are easily silenced with offer of peanuts. Why have we allowed evil to soar to high heavens in this country? That is the gospel according to Dr. Mrs. Olebra. Thank you very much. Comrade Ampadek is next here. Comrade Ampadek says, Chidozen Weso Texan from Umakano Haji, the most peaceful community in Imo State. Good morning, Barry. Tinubu should remove Wike. However, anyone thinking of increasing electricity tariff is wicked. Thank you. All right, remove Wike and it's wicked. Now you talk more. Fire my last caller for the newspaper review. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Barry.
Welcome aboard, sire.
Yeah, this is Jose calling from Nazareth.
All right.
Yeah, okay, good news. On the name of your jaw.
Abi?
On the name of your jaw. If I listen to newspaper reports and the events happening in Nigeria, on the name of your jaw.
I tried that this week. I refuse to bring this kind of news now. Today, we just have to read it. All right?
You say what?
All this week, we have been discussing things. I had no Nigerian politics now. So today, let's discuss politics more.
But other things, events happening in Nigeria, on the name of your jaw. So what I'm saying is this.
All right?
The Islamic Council or whatever is telling Mr. President to remove the INEC chairman. These are the people that serious. They protect their own. They protect their own interest first before Nigerians' collective interest. So as we Christians are not serious in whatever we are doing, we tolerate in the name of God. Say, God will judge it. God will do this. God will do that. He's hunting us.
All right.
So the people that protect their own, they have to. But we that is not protecting our own, God will protect our own. Maybe let us be moving like that. It suits us fine.
Thank you. All right, that's been much we'll be taking on the newspaper review this morning. We're here to our newsroom to bring you the news update at 10. Don't touch that, we'll be right back.
Echo FM 100.7, the fresh news people.
This week to help those in need.
If you know that it's God Almighty that created you and created we Nigerians like you need to do good things for us because the masses are suffering. How can suspend me here? Are we your slaves?
And I'm going to win this election.
That is the truth.
Stay informed with Echo FM 100.7. Join us for exclusive interviews with experts, breaking updates on local and global events, and in-depth coverage of issues impacting our community. Tune in every weekday at 6:30 a.m., 12 noon, 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. for our major news bulletin in English, Igbo, and Pidgin language. For more inquiries, you can reach us through our email, echofm@thekingmail.com. You can follow us on our social media handles at Echo FM. Echo FM 100.7 Owerri. We are the fresh news people.
Catch up with the latest news updates on Echo 100.7 FM Owerri.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the news update on Echo 100.7 FM, the station with fair and balanced reporting. Here are the latest stories we're tracking at this hour. The federal government has commenced the distribution of agricultural equipment and farm inputs to smallholder farmers in Yobe State as part of efforts to boost food production and strengthen food security. The exercise was flagged off at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security Office in Damaturu, where beneficiaries from across the state received essential inputs. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, Director of Special Duties, Zara Kachala, said the intervention followed the declaration of a state of emergency on food security, with targeted supports now focused on farmers affected by rising production costs and reforms introduced by the Yobe State government. The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to harmonize all poverty reduction programs to effectively address hunger across the country. The call followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Yobe lawmaker Khadija Ibrahim during plenary. Lawmakers warned that despite improved security, farmers will still lack access to input, financing, irrigation and rural infrastructure, stressing that failure to reintegrate displaced farmers into recovery initiatives would deepen poverty and dependency in affected communities. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has introduced an electric transport system at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja to promote cleaner and more efficient operations. The initiative includes over 30 electric vehicles made up of shuttle buses and salon cars to support airport logistics and staff movement, with plans to extend the program nationwide. FAAN Governing Board Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje described the rollout as a step toward modernizing airport operations and meeting global sustainability targets. Managing Director of FAAN, Mrs. Olubumi Kuku, said the project reflects the authority's commitment to innovation and partnerships within the aviation sector. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says his administration has institutionalized a merit-based system to guarantee sustainable development across the state. He disclosed this during a symposium marking the 50th anniversary of Oyo State at the University of Ibadan. The governor added that a new development roadmap was being prepared to guide growth beyond 2027, while the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, praised Oyo State for its pace-setting role and steady progress. In business, the chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, says the Nigeria Tax Act 2025 has boosted the disposable income of low and middle income earners through reforms to the pay-as-you-earn tax system. Oyedele dismissed claims of planned tax increases, explaining that higher revenue would come from efficiency and reduce evasion, while noting that provisions allowing tax recovery from bank accounts already existed under previous laws. On the foreign scene, the United States mission in Nigeria has announced the launch of free online English language courses aimed at improving professional skills and expanding career opportunities for Nigerians. The course offered through the U.S. Department of State Online Professional English Network allow learners to study at their own pace, with enrollment open from January 5th to March 23rd, 2026. In sports, the Confederation of African Football has imposed sanctions on Senegal and Morocco following incidents during the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final, citing violations of disciplinary rules and fair play principles. CAF suspended Senegal's coach, Pape Bouna Tiao, for 5 matches, banned Morocco's Achraf Hakimi for 2 games, with 1 suspended, and fined the Moroccan Federation $100,000. And that is the news update at this hour, edited by Benjamin Joseph. For more news and updates, follow us on Facebook at Echo FM, X at Echo FM _Owerri, Instagram at Echo FM 100.7, YouTube at Echo FM 100.7. You can also listen live anywhere in the world via www.echofm.net. I am Best Beauty going far. Thank you for listening.
Echo FM 100.7, the fresh news people.
Every day,
every hour,
every minute,
and every second,
breaking news occur.
From our villages,
in our cities,
new government policies,
the economy,
politics,
social news,
entertainment news,
security concerns.
We the people converge.
To analyze.
Separating facts from fiction.
Lies and truth.
We dissect.
We integrate.
We harmonize.
We criticize.
And we bring you all the juicy details.
Live on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri. It is Straight Talk.
Straight Talk.
Straight Talk on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri.
Shall I begin? I am your host. I am your anchorman. I am the presiding bishop of this ministry, and I am awesome. My name is Barry Cosmos, the Radio Marshal, the Buruburu One on radio, the Okenze on radio, your big brother on radio. I am the main event, and I am here.
Live on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri.
Are you ready?
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to our program. It is Straight Talk Live on Echo FM. So today, we're talking some finance matters. Well, it is no longer news that Nigerian government FJ's 9 trillion naira domestic loan surge drains lifeline from businesses. Well, according to reports, the federal government domestic borrowings from financial market operators rose sharply in 2025 despite high interest rates, widening the gap between public and private sector. Well, the sector access to credit is one of those very important aspects of an industrialized nation where access to credit loans and all that for businesses to thrive, get money to run businesses in there. But in Nigeria here, there's a wide gap between the private sector and the public sector in terms of access to credit. Well, according to data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria on Thursday. Well, yesterday, that data came out, and it is now saying that 9 trillion naira difference between the private and public sectors of the economy. An analysis of money and credit statistics showed that, well, credit to the federal government outpaced private sector borrowings by 9.19 trillion naira, representing a 695.6% swing in 2025. Think about that for a minute. We're reflecting heightened fiscal pressures and increased reliance on local funding sources. Well, in contrast, net credit to the private sector declined by 1.543 trillion. Decline. That is in 2025 alone. Highlighting the challenges faced by businesses amid tight monetary conditions and elevated interest rates. This divergence underscored a growing imbalance in the allocation of financial system resources, with the public sector absorbing a larger share of available liquidity. Okay, let's go into the analysis, and thereafter I'll let you talk about this. In business, when government borrowings, that is the internal debt of government, it exceeds that of the private sector borrowing, which is what is now happening in Nigeria, it typically leads to a situation or a phenomenon in economics and in business world known as the crowding out effect. The crowding out effect. Have you heard about the crowding out effect? This occurs because the government competes with the private sector for a limited pool of loanable funds, generally pushing up interest rates and reducing the capital available for private investors. Now, I want to take a look at the policy of CBN, Wale Edun, and all that. They keep telling us there is growth, financial growth, and they are on consolidation. They have to keep tightening the fiscal policies. They have to keep tightening interest rate by raising up interest rate, thereby growing the government fund. While you are growing the government funding and getting more government is making more money, you are gradually killing the private sector. You know, when people look at economics from one side, yes, Wale Edun is supposed to be the government representative for the economy and all that, the coordinating minister of the economy. It's not just about government, it's both the private sector. If the private sector cannot have access to liquidity, how do they function? If public sector is doing anything they're doing, most of the government expenditure is not like a capital returning business. They don't make money from most of the projects. The road they build, how much do they make? Because if you want to collect money on toll gate, which there's no toll gate now functioning, even in the parks and all that, how much do they generate compared to the business that will generate and pay taxes? And in case you have not known that this Tinubu tax has come to effect big time, I'm going to share your experience yesterday. So with all this happening, the crowding out effect on private investment, one, it reduces credit availability. When the government borrows heavily from domestic banks and financial institutions, less credit is available to private firms to invest in expansion, innovation, or research. That is why there is no research center that is doing well in this country. That is why we cannot come up with products produced in Nigeria, because the government cannot do that, only the private sector can. While in the Western world, every day they're discovering. We just had somebody came from Emirate Global, and somebody discovered new formula to help treat a lot of things. It is government making sure that there is funding for that particular purpose through the private sector funding. But in our government, the crowding effect leaves no room for anybody to go into research and innovation and even business expansion. People were shouting, Dangote borrowed money from CBN, Dangote borrowed this to build this, it's government money and all that. Listen, if there's liquidity, if the government is not mopping up all the money for government, should the private sector be going to CBN to borrow money? There should be monies in banks. But these banks, in turn, will borrow money to government who may not even pay back. Even if you have to pay back, it may be another government that will come and pay back. So those are the feedbacks that are coming from this crowding out effect. All right. Then another effect of crowding out effect is that there will be a higher borrowing cost. It increased demand for loans by the government, raises interest rates. Now, the government says it's government policy. But in economics, you can't cheat economics. You cannot even cheat nature. One of the reasons why interest rates are being raised is because of this effect. One of the reasons. Interest rate is up to 28% now. this is a direct effect of when government borrowing supersedes that of the private sector. And sometimes people may not know this and they think it's policy. No. The policy has its resultant effect because of the actions of the government. And if the government does not borrow, they cannot meet up with their own liquidity needs. So because they want to meet up, what happens? They borrow more of the funds that should be available to the private sector to borrow. And if there is more money and the private sector is coming, there will be reduced interest rates on these things so people can borrow. But because the government takes more of the borrowing, private sector doesn't even go there because of the high interest rate. And that has cost about a reduction of 1.54 trillion naira in loans from the private sector. Then, how do we now produce? This also brings about banks' laziness because they know that government will come and borrow money. So in other words, they don't go out there doing the banking business of money creation. Money creation simply means from transaction from this to this to this to this. That is how the banks create money. Because all they do is compute algorithms, put zeros and ones together, and they put to this person's account. If you want 10 billion, you just type one. It's not physical money, but it's figures created by the computer, generated and posted to your account. That is no money, all right? But the physical cash is in the bank. So for you to now do business, it simply does what? You have to go out there. Make sure the people in the business world are making money and putting in your bank. And because government is always borrowing money with high interest rates, the bank makes money, thereby making our banks very lazy. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but this is the resultant effect of this crowding out effect caused by the government borrowing more than the private borrowing internal debts. So that is exactly what comes from that. Now, the economic growth productivity is also impacted. One, it has a lower economic growth. Very low internal economic growth. Nigerian government keep telling us we grew by 5%. That's the reason you are not feeling it. The reason that they make money, but nobody is feeling it. There's more money shared to the government. They boast about, yes, the money President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is giving to the state government is high. Where is it coming from? Where? When you are borrowing all the internal money and then making government show up the coffers of government, you pay for things, I pay for that, and it's not your money. Now, this is not just about federal government. It includes all the state governors and governments. Both federal and state, they borrow more money than the private sector. Should it be so? That's the question. So it brings about lower economic growth. High internal debt can lead to lower total output in the long run because it shifts resources from private sector, which is often more productive. Yes, it's often more productive than government. Can the government produce what the private sector produces? In Imo State here, how many companies are working? How many companies? I mean productive companies, not companies that render services. How many companies are into full-time production? Those are the things to look at. So if the government funding, borrowing and lending, internal debt is higher than that of the private, it lowers the economic growth. There's nothing anybody will tell me about that. It also reduces capital accumulation. Yes, as the private investment drops due to higher cost and less credit, the overall stock of capital in the economy diminishes, causing lower productivity and potentially hindering long-term economic growth. So these are all the effects. When you put all these things together, you will now understand why. Despite the fact that the government keeps shouting, we have grown with so and so, we have added 4%, we've added 5%, no Nigerian is feeling it. This is the reason why. Number 3 of those things is the fiscal and monetary consequences. Hi, this one is even bad. Many people may be saying that's big business terminology. Let me break it down. fiscal and monetary consequences refers to the consequences of borrowing. You understand? Now, it increased the debt servicing burden. You now see that our Nigerian government will do budget 54 or 58 point something trillion, and then they put about 16 trillion out of that for debt servicing. You don't hear about that's the resultant effect. So they have to service this debt from budget, from money generated. So it puts more burden on the government to keep doing that. Once the government keeps paying back the loans, they keep borrowing more, and the money never gets to the private sector, and production and productivity goes down the drain. It is very simple. Now, from these fiscal and monetary consequences comes the inflationary pressure. If the government relies on the central bank to fund its debt, it can increase the money supply, yes, leading to higher what? Inflation. So this is a very simple thing. That's exactly what Buhari government did for years. Keep printing money. They can increase the money to supply. But while you're printing money, you are doing what? Causing inflation. And that's why prices kept going. And Tinubu can make it worse. Subsidy is gone. Pum! Prices highlighted to the rest of the heavens. And people may not understand this. Today, I wanted to break this thing down so that we'll get the picture. Then it comes up with the pressure on the public finances in the long run. In the long term, higher internal debt may necessitate higher taxation to service the debt. What are we seeing now? What are we seeing now with tax? On our way, whenever I enter business class and all that, people keep wondering, keep asking me, how do I know all these things? One day, I studied project management technology, so I understand a whole lot of this. I'm not just talking because I want to talk. I know the consequences of this. So if at the end of the day, the pressure on public financing is in the long term, what does the government do in that occasion? What do? They bring in taxation so they can fund all this borrowing, increase in inflation, interest rate that has increased, and then reduce the pressure on public finances, which comes from taxation. Waiting with a C now. Taxation is not just a tax. Now, the withholding tax, 5%. Now, when you do, what be this one now? When you do business, what maybe 1 million, you're gonna know within 5% where did they come up for the money do. Yesterday, there was a business paid about 800 something thousand. By the time it was supposed to be 900 and something, 960 something thousand naira that was supposed to be paid, and when they removed 5%, the money dropped from 950 to 800 and I don't know if you get it. 5% and then 1% tax duty. So they are taxing everything. They tell you, you're not going to pay. The poor of the poorest is not paying. This one is not paying. This one is not paying. Whose side? They remove from Peter and give Paul. That's what happens in taxation. Anybody can tell you stories. Now, lie. The issue is you need to start understanding these things. Taxation come in different form. By the time you buy, they pay you probably, for instance, somebody wants to pay for adverts now, 1 million naira advert. And then they now calculate 5%, what did they call them? Withholding tax. That's 50K. In case you don't know. They now remove 1%, what do they call it? Stamp duty. That reduces the money too. At the end of the day, instead of getting the 1 million, you're getting 900 and something or 800. So that is the effect of all this tax because it's collected indirectly. Why? Government, I don't know if they know, because I know they know, but sometimes they decide to keep a blind eye to it. And part of our job is to enlighten people so that you understand. So for those of you who understand, not to say there are no positives in what government did. No, there are a lot of positives, but we also need to understand why, despite the money that the government is growing, getting and all that, it is not reflecting in the life of Nigerians because of this crowding out effect, which is now going. It also has direct economic consequences. After this, I'm going to open up the phone line so that you enter. The direct economic consequence is the lower productivity. Bam. There's nothing anybody will tell me. Are we a productive nation now? We are producing virtually zero. Machinery, zero. Even food now is getting to zero because everything we have to import. We keep importing and selling, importing and selling. Igbo land has become an importation place. Nobody produces nothing. The few production cancels out by this thing. If you go to Imo State Industrial Layout, we have some few companies there that are managing to stay there. Somebody keep asking, are you normal to be there? Because no road, no light, no water, nothing. So when you put all those costs together, whatever profit you make vanishes. So you keep struggling. That is the effect of that productivity. So it lowers productivity, division of funds away from productive private sector investment. You hear that? Productive private sector to the unproductive public sector. And that's towards government expenditure. If you now begin to ask, what is this government expenditure? Now that there where your eye will come clear. Every year in Nigerian budget, either senators, House of Rep, government officials, directors of different ministries, ministers, and every year they buy table. Every year they buy car. Every year they change office equipment. Every year they do new printer, new computers. Every year it is budgeted. Now, when you waste all this money replenishing this table in Echo FM, now we don't use them. God knows go day at Kukuruku, go day at tire. But in government coffers, they will change this table every year. Even if they don't change it, but it's in the budget and the money is released. So that is now moving money from private productive sector to the public unproductive sector. Ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the things. Where did it start from? When the public borrowing is more than the private borrowing. These are all the consequences. Where capital flight, a high debt burden can increase the risk of devaluation and higher taxation. I hope you get all these things I'm saying to you now. These are consequences of a simple action taken knowingly or unknowingly, and this is why we are where we are. Despite the efforts of the renewed hope agenda, the renewed whatever, the new policies, it will not yield anything if these things are not taken care of. Well, if there's a high debt burden, an increased risk of devaluation, and higher taxation, what do you think investors will do? It will prompt investors to move their funds out of the country. That is why GlaxoSmith left. Shell, now they say they want to invest 20 billion again. So many companies, they left. That is called capital flight. The capital is flying away. You enter the plane, fly, go. Now, these are all consequences of an economy which further reduces domestic savings and investment. So, I think I've given you enough of analysis on what the implication of the government borrowing exceeding that of the private productive sector, resulting to a crowding out effect. Based on that, what is your take on this one? 0911-20,022, 070-454-1014. Who them a line? Good morning.
The Barry Cosmos.
I greet you, sir.
Chief Dr. Fidel Onyeneke, calling from Owerri.
My leader, welcome, sir.
Barry, you are the economist too. But no matter what you know, they talk for economy and so on, and you are not they study economic this, economic that.
Yes.
It is only when it reflects to the life, living standard of the average Nigerian that we will know that we must sabi the economy very well. There is nothing wrong in payment of taxes.
Yes.
But when people don't see what you do with these taxes, how it affects them positively, people may even run away. That is why you must use advocacy and community engagement to educate the people, enlighten them on what you do with their taxes. It will encourage them to also pay taxes, like the various taxes we are talking about now. Most Nigerians don't know about it. Let the internal revenue and whatever board and so on, including others, use the media. Go back to the grassroots, talk to people, seminars and so on, explain to them. Above all, banks, companies and some other telecommunication operators who charge money, they should tell the people why they are charging those things and what those things are meant for. Ignorance is not proper. Everything is shrouded in secrecy. Above all, for us to have a seamless governance, once the government explains to people the need to pay taxes and justify it by telling people what they are doing with the monies collected, people will be very willing to pay. Anything short of this will continue to portend danger for the nation.
Thank you.
And God bless you. My name is Fidel Onyeneke.
All right, thank you very much, Chief Dr. Fidel Onyeneke there, who is a renowned journalist who is enjoying his retirement benefits as a journalist. Journalists never retire. Oh, my leader can never be retired. Good morning. Who did that? Hey, wait, you're not ready to speak to me. Good morning.
Hello, Barry. Good morning.
Yes, senior citizen, Masters of Might in the building. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Barry, and thank you for being professorial this morning. I think you need a professorship now. The radio economics professor.
Hey, wait.
Barry, let me tell you why it concerns me.
Okay.
That the budget of last year was 70% in deficit in capital expenditure implementation. 70%, Barry.
Imagine.
In other words, the government said we scored 30%. Since you started writing the exam, from no, you didn't write exam. From every time they start setting from primary school, you wouldn't stop writing the exam. Barry, where did you pass an exam by score 30%?
30% F9 now.
And amazing. F9 or F999. Barry, and that's what the government said to us.
Yes.
That the capital project expenditure was 70% in deficit. And you are telling us you are working, you are getting more money, that the local governments are getting money, the governments are getting more money, and for that means federal government is also getting more money. As you pointed out, what is the relationship between the borrowing and development of ground? Barry. Yes, Omar says the coastal road is wonderful. Maybe that's English language for him. Tell me how the coastal road has improved the life of anybody living along the coast, or anybody who is in that coastal road, or who will use it. But you are looking at matters which are substantial, not tangential. And you are telling people who are eating that, look, there is meat in the soup, and every time you don't find any, no stumbling block, and they say there is meat, there is fish in the soup. No obstacle in the soup. Where is the fish? Where is the meat?
Invisible.
No, let me speak the type of English that makes me understand Nigeria. I'm swallowing a with you. And you say you have fish, a lot of fish, a lot of meat. Fish is in the soup pot. And we are eating. No stumbling block, no clear leg anywhere inside the soup pot. And you are telling human beings, how can you say the economy is working? Now people will start keeping their money in their homes. Because if I pay 50 million into your account, whatever is the reason, Barry, you will pay tax on that money. Not only that you pay tax, they will not issue you notices. But do you know that some companies are taxing now? The members who are directors of companies are now regarded as employees of companies for the purposes of tax. And taking what is a fact. And there is the same notice, 2020, there is nothing there. You don't know whether it's 2027 or 2020. That you don't nothing there. Do you convert directors into regular staff of any company?
Oh yeah.
And for the purpose of taxation, you are doing that. You don't understand what is going on. But soon, if you want to pay money to my account, say, don't worry, let me send somebody to come and collect it. Because as you put it there,
yes,
they take the tax, and what the law says, Barry, faithfully, is that as long as they show that they have served you notice, whether you refund or not, they take the money from your account. They put your name there. That's one, Mr. Cosmos was the person who served it. You are not going to ask them to produce Mr. Cosmos. Because by the time you are looking for who is Cosmas, they have already taken the money. And now they ask you to file notice and all that. But what I'm saying is, not many people know what is going on in the present taxation. And you are doing that because every other thing you have done to get the economy to function well has refused to function well.
Exactly.
Yes. But I don't know. Many people want to contribute. But let me say this. Everyone would like to pay tax. But tax for what? Remember why there was some uprisings long ago? No taxation without representation. Now, the next thing is no taxation without exhibiting what you do with the tax. Good morning.
Thank
I
you.
think that we are in trouble. We are actually in very bad trouble.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm done.
Oh, sorry. I just had to cut. Thought you're done. Hello, good morning.
A gracious and a pleasant morning to you, dear Barry Cosmos.
Thank you very much. Welcome, sir.
Chimezi Madu remains my name. I am a native of Ogube, one in North local government area. Let me quickly state that. Firstly, there's nothing wrong in borrowing, and there's also nothing wrong in paying taxes. Is a big issue remains the fact that when people constantly get their tax, doing the same to make sure that the nation moves forward. The government on the other side should make sure that the taxes we are paying reflects on us. The issue comes from. So the government has to do a lot of work, just like one of the callers suggested. They should engage those in the rural area, inform them how the taxes are working. Okay, there's nothing like coming to tell us pay this, pay that. But when in the actual reality, it is not reflecting on us. So the government should go and do their homework very well.
All right, thank you. Let's take another caller before we take messages. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm okay. My name is Onyechi.
Okay, Onye?
Okay. That man that called last, what is his name? I so much love the way the man used to talk. He talked like someone that's full of wisdom.
Okay, that's a senior citizen?
Yes.
Okay.
That man is a wise man. Anyway, sir.
He's not answering senior citizen for nothing, and don't you think that?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
But another thing I want to say, I have not got too much shawarma.
SM, we don't hear him now. That shawarma never show. Karikari will ask me and say, where are shawarma? Oh, yeah. SM, we don't hear. See, I beg, listen, when the Slim Diva comes on air, ask her that question. Men can give banana shawarma. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
thank
sir.
you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, that's great. Now, just before I take messages, I want to bring a typical example of a Nigerian very, very unproductive expenditure that they borrow money for, because they borrow a lot of money. In Kaduna State House of Assembly, this is what they allocated. 5.3 billion naira for lawmakers' cars and residences. That is what they did in their budget. How much is the state budget? How much is Kaduna State budget? That they allocated 5.3 billion naira for lawmakers' cars and residents. Well, according to a report by Sahara Reporters, Kaduna State House of Assembly has approved 5.3 billion in the 2025 budget that was last year for lawmakers, vehicles, and the construction of official residences for the speaker and deputy speaker, as if there was no house for them before. New house, a figure that surpasses allocation for constituency projects. What are they here now? The money for their car and their house supersedes all the constituency projects in Kaduna State. The budget shows that 3.8 billion naira was set aside to purchase 36 Toyota Camry XLE hybrid cars for legislators. To go and supervise constituency project. The money for the car is more than the money for the constituency project. They are going to go and do oversight functions. Oh, me tabo. That's exactly what we have in this country. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, boy.
Welcome aboard.
My name is Ugo Stevenson. I come from Emmanuel. Sorry, you should be paid for all the intellectual and academic analysis you have done.
Thank you, sir.
I was almost asking myself, if such journalism multiple extent as you have a physical knowledge as a cost. In fact, the physical and my brother who works at physical commission should be paying you for what you've done this month. My brother is a director there. He should pay you. And that will help us to ask those involved in this business of governance to be doing this kind of job. So that the market will not simply get angry, but appreciate the intent and, of course, analyze the action. Anytime any Nigerian who is concerned about this country looks at governance and whatever is their political, you find out that they are failed. You don't collect money on behalf of the people, and you can't explain it, and the people do not feel it. So it's a false system, and so it means like you are robbing the people. But whatever method you ask them to bring back that money. And so whenever we complain like this, I ask myself, we are turning to complain like, what other action are we going to take to correct the system and possibly find people like you who will be in the system to do this job correctly?
Thank you very much.
It go born.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you for your contribution. All right, we have Chika Henry says, good morning, Barry customers, the Buruburu One on radio. My take is that government borrowing will continue to increase because it is an indirect and easy way to loot. When they borrow, they present their budget allocating money to themselves. There is nothing we can do about it. It's another corruption pattern and we never grow with this mentality. Henry Naji from Afawama Market Old Road Nekede. Alfonso Chima says, good morning, Mr. Barry. Thank you for your economic analysis. Nigerians' 9 trillion naira debt drains bank credit. Douglas and other local market traders can't access loans. Civil servants await unpaid salaries. Meanwhile, the grid collapses and fuel prices skyrockets. Now worsened by the recent fuel tax hike. Traders spend triple on generators. Civil servants choose between electricity and food. Oh my God. Our leaders must serve citizens, not burden them. We need stable power, affordable fuel, and credit, because when the least prosper, the nation prospers. Alfonso Chima texting from Imsu Junction here in Owerri. God bless you, Alfonso Chima, for your contribution this morning. Back to our WhatsApp. We have good morning, Uncle Barry do Onyeze, Buruburu One on Radio International. We say, thank God it's Friday. May God bless Dr. Fidel Onyeneke Amazu Zoma more. Uncle Barry, we say Nigeria matters. We are tired. We are yours, humble, Obere Jesus, Adifai Chuku, Patrick Egbujo. We are representing from Umuoba Urata Owerri, not LGA. May God help kill. Okay. He said, may God help kill our John the Baptist and give us Christ. All right. Thank you very much. I thought you wanted to say, may God help us kill somebody. We also have this one. Says, good morning once again, my eloquent and majestic Barry Kossi. Just like Chief Fidel Onyeneke said, you are a great economist of great repute. I admire the way you elucidate all these economic issues which the government is wickedly hiding from us. They are really riding on our lack of knowledge to deal with us. They will regret your marrow that someone like you is out there mirroring their unholy actions. Barry Kossi, may God bless you abundantly for your fantastic economic analysis prowess. Isn't it, Lady Julie Nasike? Thank you very much, Mama, for your encouragement. Oh, this one sent newspaper. Oh, away. All right, let's just try. It says, good morning, Mr. Barry. Nigerians people behave, okay, deserve better governance narrative in this country. Is this land designed for perpetuality of doom? Ooh. It says carnage and backward. How can wicked treat workers in FCT offer prosperity and economic security to them to guarantee good working environment at Federal Capital Abuja? Nigerian government under APC have overburdened the people with 9 trillion naira. This is a case capitalist state with social benefits to Nigerians. How can this country be better? Nigerians should rise up now and end this darkness in our country. Get your voters card and get this cream of leaders. Thanks. Imo Imane PhD in Owerri. This current cream of leadership in the country honestly deserves total change. All right. We have this one from Ihekam Emmanuel. Sebari Cosmos. Good morning and happy weekend. Why should Sharia Council call for removal of INEC boss? What's his offense? Ban of sachet and small container alcoholic drinks by NAFDAC in order. Wike should step down. He was a governor so that he will end well politically, because whatever has a beginning definitely has an end. Have a good day, Jare. Thank you, my brother. Well, this ban on alcoholic beverage, all of us small sachet with a drink, the same no drink them again. Something where Maf King will just put for pocket. Even tear and do one go to church. Begin mix very well. They say mono drink. That one makes sense, but then they say it is causing drunkenness. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabari.
Welcome aboard, Sire.
Somewhere from Nazareth.
Okay.
Sabari. This 9 trillion naira you're talking about. I believe in any way reduce the impact your environmental development from the government.
I didn't get that. You said, did I what?
I said the 9 trillion naira. They borrow and develop the country.
Well, like I said,
did they borrow to do business?
Like I said, it is the effect of all this borrowing. The government is over borrowing more than the private sector. That's what we're talking about. It is not whether they did or they didn't do that. So you just need to understand what we're talking about so that you know how to respond as well.
Like you're saying now, the government is trying to tell us that we don't have access to the economy of Nigeria because as they are borrowing internationally and borrowing locally, the common businessman in the market that's supposed to borrow like 500K or 1 million from the bank, if you get to the bank, because of the government influence over the bank, they will give you excessive, conditions that you cannot meet. And if you look at it in the other way around, it is your money.
Okay.
It is our money that we give to the bank to keep for us. Now, when we want to do something, maybe bigger project, and we want to borrow something bigger than our money in the bank, they will refuse us and give it to the government that is supporting the people.
Well,
my brother,
that's exactly what we are saying. That's the resultant effect of all these actions: high interest rates, high inflation, high. Eh? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, well done, sir.
Thank you very much. That's why big man all in everything where they worry are now only high blood pressure, high BP, high that one. Where poor man you begin here low sperm counts and all those kind of things, everything low. But at the end of the day, that's exactly what is happening. So, well, that's one of the resultant effects. Somebody has gotten the experience here. Comrade Ampadek Chidozen also texting from Umakanel Haji, the most peaceful community in Imo State. He says, good morning, Barry Cosmos. We shall keep lamenting over our crumbling economy until we get capable hands to turn our economy around. Until we stop using political office to settle our friends and those who helped us rig elections, we can never make a headway. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, my good brother Sabari.
I greet you, sir. Quickly.
The man I always pray when I grow up, I would like to be with you.
Thank you, my brother. Okay. Oh, Comrade Franco, we can't hear you.
Why did we stand on shoot?
Frank, no vex. not be angry, please. No vex. I can't hear you. Let's not waste your airtime. All right, thank you very much. You were just mumbling. I couldn't hear a thing you're saying. Hello, good morning. You're my last caller for today.
Good morning, Barry Cosmas, my very good friend.
Chief Jude.
My name is Chief Jude Ubaja, and I usually call from Duty, Organimo State.
All right.
Well, with respect to our senior citizen, who incidentally is my mentor.
Okay.
I want to say that there is nothing wrong, absolutely, with any government following. There is nothing wrong, actually, with any government actually imposing taxes, because tax is one of the ways government makes that requires revenue. As far as the new tax law is concerned and as it's in practice, I want to say that, I mean, there is need to actually look into it seriously with a view to revenue, because even the poorest of poor Nigerians like me have even started suffering it. Most times I'm being charged 15 naira something. Most times I'm being charged for even the charging anything phone and things like that. I don't think it's very proper. Even when the government has told us initially that, I mean, the tax will not affect the poorest of the poor Nigerians. Not people like me are also suffering. But I want to say that there's nothing wrong. I think Nigerian economy, quite unlike the case you portrayed, Nigerian economy is growing. We little wonder why Shell has actually decided to come and invest in the country. Because according to them, they say that they see potentials in Nigerian economy, that it is growing to an enviable standard. So let us encourage our government very well for what they are doing, well.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Chief Jude.
You don't throw away the baby with bad water. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Jude. Well, if you do understand what we're talking about, we're only looking at the consequences of government-owned action and the resultant effect of crowding out effect. So everybody, if you have understood what we discussed, then you appreciate what the information we're given. Our time is up, so let me just quickly rush out all these messages here. Juju from Equity says, question, Barry, please, they should allow people to have their sachet drink. That is the only thing that can make them happy. Okay, now. We have this one. Say, good morning, Barry. I'm Felix Moses, texting from Umar Himberi. Barry, Nigerians have lost total confidence in our leaders. Thank you. We also have this one. Says, good morning, Barry, the Radio Marshal, the one and Prince Chiedozo, women writing from Barry. The truth is that no one rigs election to come and favor you. My brother, I'm not surprised in this Tinubu's economic failures, because he said it's his turn, and now in due process, my brother, Nigeria, it's a joke. If a free and fair election is being conducted, all of them in this government will not return in 2027. That is why somebody like Tinubu is against free and fair election. The truth is that the bad ones that are in government, I rest my case and praise Chiedozo from Workslace out. And that's where we will drop the curtain for today's program. Thank you very, very much for all your contributions, for sticking around with us. Yes, SM don't come. Mona SM well and shawarma day. Mona leave me alone. I am running out of here. Bye-bye for now. Up next is Health Revolution with the Slim Diva. Oh, today on a Friday. Oh, did they come? Did they come? She matters. Mona gonna talk why so many wives are become so disrespectful to their husbands. Yeah, come and tell us. Why which men? No talk. I won't come here. I go. I'll stand back now. Thank you all. Bye bye for now. She Matters is up next.
Echo FM. Echo FM 100.7, the fresh news people.